final day of action here at the East Asia Pacific Sub-Regional Qualifier B. And it's a big game. Indonesia need a big net run rate boost to get up ahead of Japan and make the regional finals. If Japan win, they're in. It's that simple. And I'm sure you're dying to find out exactly what happened at the toss. I'm not going to keep you waiting much longer. Here's James McConey with the toss.
All right, well, welcome down to the toss. I've got match referee here, Bob Stratford, who'll do the honours. We've got Indonesian captain, Cadet Gamin Tika, and also Kendall Karawaki Fleming, the Japanese captain. So, Bob, if you'll do the honours, who's going to call? Okay,
Kendall's calling.
Oh, you're tossing, all right, here we go. Off you go, Garmin.
Heads is the call. That's a head. We'll have a bat. Thank you.
Okay, Kendall, it's a 19-over game. You've decided to bat. What was the rationale behind that?
We've been trying to bat first all tournament except for the rain-affected day, so we're pretty clear on our plans, and we're looking at the South Korea game we played on this pitch, and we're going with something similar.
And you've been in good form. I guess any shuffle in the lineup, or are you just going to stick with what you know?
Yeah, we have two changes. We've got Kento Ota coming in for Kohei Kubota and Shogo Kimura coming in for Supun Naviratne.
Oh, it could be some fireworks. Looking forward to it. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Thank you, Garmin. What do you make of that? I'm happy to bowl in these conditions.
Yeah, actually our planning was to bowl first, and we are doing win the toss, right? But just only a few changes from my team as well. Budiarto is coming in. Kadek Dharmawa will be staying in the 12th man today.
Nice. And for you personally, you're still going to come in at number 3, like your hero Ricky Ponting?
yes. I'm still number 3.
Okay.
Pretty much sure.
Excellent.
So there you have it, the news from the middles. Japan win the toss and decide to bat first. Let's take a look at that lineup. Alex Shirai Patmore, the wicketkeeper batter. Ibrahim Takahashi, Kendall Karawaki Fleming, the skipper. We got Kenta Ota Dobel into the team for the first time today. Makoto Taniyama, Piyush Kambare, Sabarish Ravichandran. That spin trio for Japan. Shogo Kimura into the team as well. Reo Sakurana Thomas, Declan Suzuki, and Loki Yamamoto Lake. And for Indonesia, we've got Agus Priyandana, Ahmad Ramdhoni, the wicketkeeper batter, Danielson Hawo, Eddie Artaman, Ferdinando Banu Naik, and Kadek Gamantika, the skipper, Wayan Budiarta, Kiruba Ramamurthy, Maxi Koda, Anjar Tadaris, and of course, Paddy Survey. And look at that points table. Japan with a huge net run rate boost. A net run rate of 4.67. They're undefeated, 6 points in 3 games. Indonesia, a net run rate of 0.26. They need a big win right now. And if they get a big win, they will have a chance of qualifying if they get another big win over South Korea, who are out of the competition, losing all 3 of their games so far.
Well, Jay, it's looking like it's pretty tough, isn't it, now, for anyone else to win this tournament. Japan in that box seat there and looking dominant, absolutely thrashing South Korea yesterday. And it was, if it was a boxing contest, they would have thrown in the towel, someone would have called it off, the mercy rule would have been applied, pick any sport. But this match, it should be a more even contest. They've had a really tight series recently. Japan won that 2-1, and really looking forward to seeing those Japanese batters, especially on an artificial pitch. Look, it's been tough because of the overnight rain here, drizzled all night in Sano, just north of Tokyo, Japan. So the groundskeeper, Todd Luckhurst, once again, is a miracle worker. Has come up with a playable surface, a playable outfield, and we're ready for action here. Jay, I know you're looking forward to this as well. We've seen some big hitting, especially from the Japanese side.
Yeah, absolutely. That power play is going to be key here for Indonesia. If they can take some early wickets, well, I tell you what, Japan, it's the power play. That's where they have thrived. That top three for Japan. Surprisingly today, Supun Navratna not in the team. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. It could be a merit-based selection. He's looked aggressive at the top of the order without actually going on to convert. Shogo Kimura comes in for him. And of course, Japan under-19 player, former under-19 player, Kento Ota Dobel, into the team in place of Kohei Kubota. So those are the pair of changes for Japan. Very, very interesting. James, what do you make of these changes for Japan?
Look, I think it's the artificial pitch being where it is. It lends itself to Shogo Kimura spanking it over those short boundaries there. So that's a tactical change for sure. Not sure about the other change there. Kohei Kubota has been in good form. Maybe it was just touch and go, and they really wanted to give the youngster a game. And look, they run quite deep, this Japanese team, and I don't think there'll be a loss in quality. But as you can see, the pitch, well, that's actually the Japanese team just with their last little warm-up and huddle. And, of course, the Indonesian side there, led by Gamantika Kardec, who is a wonderful character of East Asia Pacific cricket. And Paddy Survey, the 41-year-old, is the one who will be batting later on. The umpire's coming out here. But you will be able to see the pitch very soon, which is, as you look down the ground, it's just over towards one of the boundaries, and it makes it easy pickings for a good hitter on a really consistent surface.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's a good shout as well. This artificial deck, it's going to make a bit of a difference, no doubt, compared to that turf wicket. So batting conditions, I feel, are going to be very, very good. The weather's pretty good as well. So Japan, I think they'll be looking to go at maybe around 10, even 12 runs and over in that power play. Lockie Yamamoto Lake, a scintillating half-century in that previous game. And the openers walk out to bat. Lockie's walking out to bat, and we're going to get confirmation on who his opening partner is. Remember, Supun Navratna out of the team today. I have a feeling that might be due to injury. I'm going to send a cheeky little message on that group chat to find out exactly why that's the case.
That's Makoto Taniyama, I think, there, his opening partner. Yamamoto Lake, just an imperious form yesterday, and made a very short, using the chalk there to mark his centre, and it's a good idea. Yeah, short work of it, wasn't it, yesterday? How long was that chase?
Ooh, I think it was 9.5 overs, or maybe less than that, in fact.
Yeah. So we got an early finish here down at the Sano International Cricket Ground, the SICG.
Tell you what, net run rate of 4.67. Japan, of course, they don't necessarily have to win this contest as long as it's, well, as long as they don't get pounded, they should be fine. Indonesia, they need early wickets, and once again, they're turning to Maxi Koda to open things up for them. The spearhead of this Indonesian bowling attack. We're around, well, 30 seconds away. Oh no, we're 1 second away from the scheduled start time. Indonesia, they need wickets. They need them right now. Maxi Koda, can you deliver?
Well, Maxi Koda, there's been so much made of how far he has to travel, 16 hours by boat to practice down in southern Indonesia. And then he turns up to training, and I'd say he'd scare the pants off everyone there. And he comes.
6-3 offside field. Goes over mid-off, and he picks up exactly where he left off from. In fact, that's gone all the way. Lockie Yamamoto Lake not messing around. Let's take a look at that replay on that 4th, 5th stump line. No swing, no movement in the air, no movement, of course, off this artificial deck. And that sails over mid-off. It sails over long off for the first maximum of the day. Look at that on your screens. I'm sure you can see it's gotten very, very bright. Second ball of the over. Bang! 6 followed by a boundary between backward point and that cover fielder. Lucky Yamamoto Lake. He's making his intentions clear, attacking the power play. Look at that once again. Maxi Koda just affording the batter a little too much width. He has a swing, makes a good connection. And I tell you what, I could hear that bang off the bat all the way from the commentary box.
Oh, and the groundskeeper, Todd Luckhurst, has to go and fetch it. Yeah, he's prepared pretty good surface and ground under the conditions. It's a lot of water overnight. Yamamoto Lake doesn't mind a lake at all.
Bang once again. This could be the third boundary of the over. No, I spoke too soon. There we go. Deep mid-wicket cleans up, but it's 2 more runs and Lockie is still on strike.
So you probably noticed the ball just stopping dead there in the outfield, and that's due to that surface water. The sun is out though, so we're hoping it'll dry up a bit. We've got another game after this.
Some of these weather forecasts have been downright incorrect. I got sunburnt 2 days ago. That wasn't supposed to happen. And once again, it looks like I'm going to go 2 shades darker today. That's well timed, but there's a fielder in the deep. And he slips at the non-striker's end as well. So, welcome relief here for Indonesia. At least Lockie's off strike and Makoto Taniyama opening for the first time in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there's a bit of slippage out there. It's been very soggy. Even when I was out there for the toss, you could feel the water squelching up in parts of the ground. And that's why I've worn some socks that I'm planning to discard at the end of the day.
Makoto Taniyama, he opened at the 2018 East Asia Pacific Qualifier B and pushed up the order today. Well timed, unable to beat that fielder in the cover region. That looks like Gaman. Karek Gamantika, the Indonesian skipper, he's going to have a role to play with the bat. Indonesia, I don't think they're going to be unhappy with the result of this toss. They're going to know exactly what they need to chase. That's so important. But I tell you what, if you're Indonesia, it's not going to help that this game is being played on an artificial deck. Something special is needed to bowl Japan out for a chaseable total. That's well timed. Taniyama, he's off the mark. He's going to get at least 1. Look at that. Both the batters and the fielder just slipping on this wet outfield. And he's off the mark with 2. After 1 over, Japan are 15 for no loss.
Yeah, very good over for Japan. Speaks for itself there, 15 off it. The other thing is, that shot, it was nice. It was Maxi Koda. He'll be thrown a bit by that. He hasn't gone for too many, but that's big punishment. And a nice shot, just clipped off the pads there by Taniyama. But the star at the moment, picking up from yesterday, is Yamamoto Lake, the classically trained pianist out of Perth, Australia. And he loves to go big. Don't forget, we will be plugging his music later on. He's part of a hip-hop group as well called BRB Mundi. I listened to them last night and was quite shocked by what I heard.
Mate, I'm yet to Google BRB Monday. I wonder if they're on YouTube, Spotify. Interested in hearing some of Lockie Yamamoto's music, but for now, I'm more interested in his batting. And bowling from the other end, it's going to be Paddy Survey, one of the best players for Indonesia in this tournament. He's definitely been their best batter. But can he make early inroads into this Japanese batting lineup? Tell you what, Indonesia would rather be bowling to Makoto Taniyama. Oh, not if they keep giving him full tosses. Oh, and that's a misfield. Deep square leg. In a do-or-die game, you've got to do better than that. You're going to get confirmation on who that fielder is down there. Oh, Danielson Hawo. Sonny Hawo. That is just not good enough. It's a bonus 3 runs conceded. And in fact, it's actually Lockie Yamamoto Lake, the batter on strike. He's not going to get an easier gift than that. 19 for no loss. This is going pear-shaped pretty quickly for Indonesia. That's into the leg side again. And it's yet another boundary. Consecutive 4s to kick off the second over.
Well, if Japan carry on like this, we did see a 218 from them the other day against South Korea. That was off 20 overs. This game is 19 overs, but they're on target for something bigger. Can you imagine?
Pressure here on Survey. Paddy Survey. Not good enough off his first 2 deliveries. Coming off a short run. Can he pull things back? That's Fuller. That's a lot better. And he digs it out. Lockie Yamamoto Lake. Look at that. 22 off 7. He's not messing around. A strike rate in excess of 300.
Paddy Survey, he's normally a star with the bat, but he's been called in to duty right now, and he's a 41-year-old with a lot of experience and skill. It's a bit tough against batsmen in this type of form.
Down the leg side. He's yet to find his radar. It can be tough to control that new ball. And like we said, wet conditions as well. Maybe that ball's getting a little bit wet and slippery. And perhaps that's why Japan decided to bat first as well. They're going with their more intimidating suit. I was going to say their stronger suit, but they've been fantastic with the ball as well, Japan. That's the thing with this Japanese lineup, so well balanced. They've got at least 7, if not 8 bowling options. And they bat all the way down to number 9. Ooh, misfield there. That looks like Kadek Gamantika, the skipper. He's definitely better than that. And now have counted 4 runs given away in misfields in the first 10 balls of this game.
Well, Paddy Survey is probably the only person in that team who can tell his captain off. He's got the seniority. He wants a bit better from Garmin Ponting, as he likes to call himself.
Yeah, that's better. Getting it up there in the block hole. In Indonesia, I feel like you've got to do more of that. Take the pitch out of the equation.
Yeah, totally agree. This was a very consistent service. We saw Kendall Karawaki Fleming score a 40-ball 100 the other day against South Korea. Unbelievable. 6th fastest of all time in T20 internationals.
He goes big, hasn't got all of it. In fact, he holds out too long on. So a very important wicket here for Indonesia. They're not celebrating because they know there's still so much work to do.
Wow, just a miscue and even a poor shot selection from Yamamoto Lake. Went straight down the field. I guess he was straight down the fielder's throat. He was looking to go over the top. As you can see, the big swing. There's plenty of cover out there. Nicely taken. We saw some dodgy fielding yesterday, but these Indonesians haven't dropped too many over the past couple of days.
Yeah, it was good bowling from Survey. It wasn't in the slot. It was a little bit fuller. And I get the feeling Yamamoto Lake was trying to go into that mid-wicket cow corner region. Hit it a little bit straighter than he would have hoped and he didn't get elevation, didn't get distance. And that's why he lost his wicket. And look at that. Look at who's walking in at number 3. It's Captain Fantastic, Kendall Karawaki Fleming, walking in at number 3.
Yeah, well, we know he can bat. He bats extremely well, whether he's playing here in Japan or back in Brisbane for Northern Suburbs in the Premier Comp there. He's with the Chiba Sharks here, the local team, just on the other side of Tokyo. And really well-spoken young man, great ambassador for the game. And he's also a player agent, a player manager. He's got some So I think some Australian players in his stable.
Like that, a player agent. Maybe he can find himself a couple of gigs that finds the gap between mid-off, apologies, cover and extra cover. Is just going to be a single. Makoto Taniyama dealing in singles.
Yeah, I did offer to him to be his agent last night. But for that to happen, he'd have to hire me on his, I think, step back management. He's a big basketball fan, so everyone knows what a step back is if you're a step back three-pointer. So, yes, he's busy all the time, always on the phone dealing with his clients and busy out here, pretty much running the cutter for Japan.
Kiruba Ramamurthy coming over the wicket to the left-hander. Oh, look at that. Yet another misfield. Indonesia, that's 5 runs you've conceded in misfield so far in this innings.
Well, was that a drop chance? It was uppish.
I think it might have been a bump ball. We're going to take a look at this replay.
It could have been. I'm hoping we get a replay.
Third ball of the over. That's cut away. It wasn't that short, in fact. Oh, a mix-up here. This could be a run-out. Oh, needed a direct hit or a better throw. It's very hard to take those throws on the half volley.
Well, they don't need nervous runs. This is really a pitch and a outfield that is for boundary hitters. So you don't need that, and that's a misfield all round.
That was a terrible throw from Wayan Budiarta. I'm not sure why Kiruba Ramamurthy was applauding that effort. Faster. Oh, he finds that gap. In fact, it's another misfield. Got a slowish boundary, but it might just make it through. And yes, it does, in spite of a valiant attempt. Mate, that's 9 runs conceded in misfields so far.
There we see leans back, a nice sort of cut on the move. And it's easy pickings for someone of his class, Karawaki Fleming.
Mate, I'm going to whip out my math here. That's 27.33% of runs today have been conceded in misfields. Bang! Kendall Karawaki Fleming doesn't even move. And you can see why. An easy boundary to the right of that mid-off fielder.
Well, this is classic Karawaki Fleming. The lofted off drive. He is so good on that offside and elegant like a lot of left-handers. Of course, he knows he wants to go over cow corner. He'll be wanting to scratch that itch, but right now he's just playing these classic cricket shots on the offside.
I gotta say,
the fielder comes in.
I love how he just didn't run. We got a slow outfield. Kendall's like, no, that's going for 4. And it's forced a change of field as well. Mid-off has now dropped back to... Interesting. We got a mid-off and what looks like a whitish long-off. Fired in. Ooh, backward point does well. Fires in a throw, but it's a little bit too high. A single to close out the third over. It's 38 for 1 after 3.
Nice little comeback delivery there from Ramamurthy. If he can keep that set that he brought the field in, trying to tempt him to swing across the line. He knew where he was going to bowl. It was just a nice plan. But he's gone for a few. 12 off that over. And Japan, 38 for 1. It's unbelievable. They're on target for a huge total. 3 overs gone.
Mate, I feel like their average score after 3 overs, or their average run rate after 3 overs in this tournament has been around 12 or 13 runs and over. Japan have just been crazy in the power play. It's your man, Paddy Survey. He's got the responsibility to just peg things back here. Took a wicket in his first over. Conceded.
He usually has a smile on his face, doesn't he, Paddy? But today, this will be tested in this over, I'm sure. He's got a bowl to Kendall Karawaki Fleming.
It's coming over the wicket to the left-hander. Tucked away on the leg side. A rare dot ball for Kendall Katawaki Fleming.
Nice line and length. That's actually not too bad, is it, from Paddy's survey? I could see him just trying to put a little bit of effort and zing on the ball, trying to get it to hurry up. It will skid a bit, there's moisture.
That's 2 full, overpitched. Work to do for the man in the deep who does well. Whips out that long barrier and keeps it down to a single.
Yeah, nice fielding there from the Indonesians, and that brings a new man on strike. Paddy will enjoy that. Taniyama.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I forgot that Makoto Taniyama was out there at the crease. But yes, he's been dealing in singles. I think 5 singles, in fact, off his first 5 deliveries. So it's so important when you've got partners going big at the other end. Just keep that dot ball percentage nice and low.
Oh,
It's going to be another single for Taniyama. Look at that. On strike and off strike. A familiar story for Makoto Taniyama. Opening for the first time in this tournament. I'm trying to get confirmation on exactly why. Oh, look at that. Instead of throwing that question about selection out in the group chat, I've thrown it to one of my friends in Hong Kong. He has no idea why Supu Navaratna is not in this 11. Oh, fantastic. Here we go, halfway through the 4th over. It's punched through the offside, yet another misfield, Indonesia. That's 10 runs conceded in misfields today. 25% of all runs scored today have come courtesy of Indonesia's misfields. I know it sounds harsh, but it's so simple, James. Just get that long barrier out.
yeah, I agree with you there, Jay. And again, you'll need the long barrier because it's inconsistent surface. There's still a bit of a soggy outfield. Get the leg down when in doubt.
Ah, mate, I'm shaking my head in this commentary box. Last ball of the over. Oh, that's whipped away on the leg side. Work to do here for long on. And he does well to get around and cut it down to just 2. Japan, however, still going strong. They're 43 for 1 after 4.
Wow, what a conservative over from Japan. They've just 5 from it. But as you can see, they're still over 10 and over at the moment. And it's even though reduced to 19 overs, the 200 target well within their reach. And if Kendall Katawaki Fleming can stay out there, well, who knows what the total can be.
I tell you what, it would take a brave person to bet against a Kendall Katawaki Fleming 50-plus score. He's on strike. Through the offside, in fact, he beats mid-off. And that races down to the boundary in spite of that slowish outfield. Kendall Katawaki Fleming moves on to 16 off 8. Look at that, stand and deliver, as you can see on the replay. Feel sorry for that fielder there. He never stood a chance. And once again, we have a bit of a change in field.
Well, that was almost a test match stroke, wasn't it, from Kendall Katawaki Fleming, sending it back along the deck.
Fires it in. Well done, Kiruba Ramamurthy, shortening up his length. And a play and a miss, a rare play and a miss from Kendall Katawaki Fleming. Through the offside, in fact, straight to extra cover. It's consecutive dot balls.
Well, this is the last day of this ICC East Asia Pacific qualifying tournament. And, oh no, there we go. The long barrier didn't even work, Jay. Another misfield. I know that you'll be shaking your head again. but anyway, we've had a great tournament. Japan are in the box seat. They're likely to win this, and even the start is probably means that they're unassailable, and that means they go through to a regional qualifier against the likes of, we've got Vanuatu, Philippines and Papua New Guinea, Jay.
Absolutely, that tournament will take place next year. So whoever qualifies from this tournament has a 1 in 4 shot of making it to the World Cup itself. They're coming back for 2 here.
Oh!
Big appeal, and it's given. Absolutely unnecessary wicket. Makoto Taniyama, there was never 2 there. Just as we were singing Japan's praises, they've lost their 2nd wicket, and a bit of hope now for Indonesia.
Well, this run out, it was buys, I think. It was, oh no, there was an edge. Happy to run. He was calling for it, I think. Great throw, and the keeper does the job. Lovely throw from the deep. Taniyama, why do it to yourself? You're still in the middle of a power play, so it's not about running, it's about smashing it.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. You got those fielding restrictions, just 2 fielders in the circle. You can go over the top, Makoto Taniyama. Absolutely no need to come back for that suicidal 2nd run. And look at that, walking in at number 4 is Ibi Takahashi. And Ibi Takahashi, of course, in that Indonesian Tri-Series on at least 2 occasions, I believe he batted at number 3. Moved down the order for the first half of this tournament, but for this game he's in at number 4. And I like this move from Japan as well. Ibi Takahashi, not your classical T20 player, more of an anchor type player, and Japan, they don't need anything fancy in this innings or in this game. They just need to ensure that they don't lose by a big margin. Look at that. Yet another misfield. It's not going to result in a run.
Wow, that's an interesting one. Kendall Karawaki Fleming sends the batsman back. The batter, who they pretty much, Takahashi was 2/3 of the way down the pitch. You don't often see that. He had plenty of time to get back though, so there was a single there, but I guess Kendall wanted to retain strike. Who can blame him? He's on a side of the field that's got the short offside boundary's been strong on the offside so far. They've been trying to bowl to him there anyway because they don't want him to go big over mid-wicket, which was his trademark the other day. He hit 5 sixes in 1 over. Started with a dot ball, a very famous dot ball really, and then the 5 sixes, most of them over mid-wicket. So Indonesia, they have taken note. And you look at that packed offside field. But no one deep. So they're daring him to go over the top. It's a brave tactic. Let's see if it pays off.
Tucked away into the leg side. And they get a useful single. I tell you what, this is the biggest test for Kendall Karawaki Fleming so far in this tournament. I know it's an artificial deck. We've got good batting conditions. But I tell you what, if Indonesia can restrict Japan to somewhere in the region of 150, 160, like I said, easy batting conditions. If they chase it down in 15 overs, it's a double whammy. They improve their net run rate. But Japan's net run rate will also get worse. And if Indonesia go into that game against South Korea and win big yet again, who knows? Indonesia could sneak in through the back door. Imagine that. Mate, I tell you what, 50 up for Japan. They're in control of this game, but only just about.
Oh,
Paddy Survey, look at that. A generous amount of movement away from the right-hander and nervous early moments in this innings for Ibi Takahashi.
that's nice from Paddy Survey. There's so much moisture in the air. He's getting the ball to move. And as the sun comes down, you'll be able to see there will still be some assistance.
Oh, leg stump full toss. It hits straight to mid-wicket. I tell you what, I sense some nerves here from Ibi Takahashi. I tell you what, I think something's got to give now. I feel a big shot coming. Look at that. Ibi Takahashi a little bit fidgety at the crease. Still looking for his first runs. That's shorter in fact. Pushed straight back to the bowler. Just 1 run off this over so far. 2 balls left in the power play.
Well, the pressure mounting on Takahashi, and to be honest, I think he's probably better off not rushing things this over. He looks like he really needs to get his eye in, and that being the case, he should probably just keep Paddy at bay. He's looking good at the moment.
Tries to go big. Ooh, 1 bounce to mid-off, who slips. I tell you what, if he hadn't slipped, it could have been a second run out.
There's also a bit of a collision at the bowler's end. Takahashi ran straight into Paddy's survey. Paddy made the tackle, kept him upright.
A reminder, of course, that there were some nervous moments in that chase the last time Japan faced off against Indonesia. At one stage, Indonesia needed 5 wickets for victory, and Japan still needed 19 runs to win. That's cut away straight to backward point.
Well, that
Good end to the power play for Indonesia. James McConey, what do you make of the first 6 overs?
Well, incredibly bright from Japan, really, especially at the start. Paddy's survey bringing it back. What an over that was. We could see the plan, put that packed cover field, offside field there, and forced Kendall Fleming to go very conservative. Haven't seen that from him. And pinned down Takahashi. So look at a little mini comeback from Indonesia, but look at that. 51 for 2 from Japan.
Yeah, in fact, this is Japan's worst power play of the tournament so far. And I dare say if you told Indonesia that you'd have the opposition 51 for 2 after the power play, I think Indonesia would have actually taken that. And now, of course, Indonesia with the luxury of being able to spread out that field. We have just 4 fielders inside the circle. Ramamurthy does well, finds that block hole, goes to long off, and of course it's just going to be a single. But if you're Indonesia at this point, when you're bowling to Kendall Kadawaki Fleming, we've got a shortish extra cover boundary. It's very easy for someone like Kendall Kadawaki Fleming to clear that extra cover fence. He loves that region. So if you're Indonesia, if you're Kiruba Ramamurthy, do not bowl too full. That's better. Oh, look at that. A fortuitous edge. It's running down to the boundary. Is it going to get there? I think the fielder has done well to just take a little bit of pace off that delivery. Oh, a throw comes in. Look at that. Good cricket all round. A good delivery and a good bit of fielding, followed by a good bit of running as well.
That's the first 3 runs I've seen this tournament, I think. But that was one of those, it was a streaky shot really from Kadawaki Fleming. Indonesia putting the brakes on a little bit, although that 3 runs does mean that the over is already something of a success for Japan, as they just try to post a decent total here off the 19 overs. It's all they really need. And then they'll have their title. They'll go through to the East Asia Pacific qualifier for the 2024 World Cup.
I gotta say, I'm loving the atmosphere at the ground right now. Just a few dozen spectators in. With the Japanese dugout, the spectators, they're all quiet right now. There's a lot of tension, and that's because Indonesia, they're stringing together a nice couple of overs, nice 3-4 overs, in fact. And for the first time in a long time, that run rate has come below 9 runs and over. We're halfway through the 7th over. Japan 55 for 2. Goes over the top. I don't think he's got the distance on it. It's going to plug in the outfield, but they're going to come back for 2 nonetheless.
Well, as you can see, that the field has scattered. There was a tight field before, and now look at them all on the boundary, the Indonesian fielders.
full and pumped down to long on. Once again, it's just going to be a single. We've so far seen 7 runs off this over. So that's the important thing for Japan. Even if you're not getting the boundaries, just minimize that dot ball percentage. Nothing fancy needed here from Japan. Just stitch together a partnership, get to that 80-85 run mark after 10 overs, and you can accelerate. That's slapped away. Deep cover does well. 8 runs off the over. After 7, Japan are 59 for 2.
Yeah, those 5 boundary fielders just expecting to be busy. This consistent bounce of the artificial pitch, the big hitting of Japan, a special Karawaki Fleming. I'm sure he will, if he does go down, he'll go down swinging. And I think we can expect Kendall to come up. There's a bowling change here. Oh no, it's not, still Ramamurthy. I think we can expect Kendall to come up in the second game today. There's another game between Indonesia and South Korea scheduled to start around 1:30. And I think Kendall's going to come up to the commentary box and we'll have a chat to Kendall.
Look at that. We get to talk to the man himself, Kendall Karawaki Fleming. And James, you were right the first time round. We actually do have a change in bowling. It's
Oh, it
Eddie
was.
Artavan into the attack.
Excuse me, I was just looking at the scorecard thinking I've been telling lies, but yeah, Artawan.
Here we go, the leg spin of Eddie Artavan. Oh, look at that, a googly to kick things off. I wonder, was there an edge on that? I tell you what, it sounded woody to me. Hands on his head as well from Eddie Artavan. Let's take a look at that replay. Yeah, there you go, Kendall Karawaki Fleming. Just getting some pointers from Ibi Takahashi on which way the ball is turning. That's shorter and flatter. Well bowled, Eddie Artavan. Keeping the batter guessing. I gotta say, I think for the first time in this tournament, a bit of pressure on Kendall Karawaki Fleming. 22 of 17. He's slowed down in the last 10 minutes or so. Artavan, can he make it 3 dot balls in a row?
Wow.
Streaky single, run out chance. Ooh, I gotta say the fielder did well, throwing off balance. He slipped as well. But just making it in, Kendall Karawaki Fleming.
There was nothing convincing about that shot or run from Kendall Karawaki Fleming. Got through in the end, but you can see as well, if you look at the run-up, it's a bit muddy and boggy down there, so it's not ideal for a quick single either.
Yeah, I tell you what, this contest has come back to life, and that's because of a sustained period of pressure here from Indonesia. They're bowling better, they're fielding better. Yet again, just 1 run off the over so far, 2 balls left. Ibi Takahashi 5 off 9. And Kendall Karawaki Fleming at the non-strikers end, 23 off 18. He's racing through this over, Eddie Artavan. Tossed up, a false shot, and in fact, he's bowled. Ibi Takahashi loses his off stump, and Japan lose their 3rd wicket, 60 for 3 in the 8th over.
Wow, this was lovely from Artawan. Really out of his misery because Takahashi was struggling the whole time and went for the big swing. Stayed pretty straight and just pinged the off peg. The bail goes flying, and I did ask them for zinger bails actually because of the gloomy conditions, the zing bails. Maybe next time, maybe the afternoon game if it stays a bit gloomy. But there's no doubt about that. And Takahashi departs 5 from 10, I believe. And now Ravichandran comes through. Shabarish. Saw him take an incredible catch. He's been bowling really well for Japan. The really triple threat in this cricket team.
Yeah, I tell you what, Sabarish Ravichandran, he's a very intelligent cricketer. Very accomplished cricketer as well. He can bowl, he can bat, and I tell you what, he can field as well. A fantastic catch 2 days ago, of course. I believe he was fielding at mid-on, maybe. running back, put in a dive as well. One of the catches of the tournament, Sabarish Ravichandran. And he's a very intelligent middle overs batter as well. That's defended into the offside. And look at that, the end of a successful over. Well done, Eddie Artavan. 1 run off that over and a wicket. Japan 60 for 3 after 8.
Well, the brakes have been applied firstly by Paddy Survey, but Artawan says, you know what, I'll take a wicket and 1 run off that over. 1 for 1, Artawan. And now it's probably up to Kendall Karawaki Fleming to do something here. This is the most conservative stats I've seen from him. 23 of 18. Ramamurthy, his stats aren't that great because of the start. When we saw Yamamoto late go big, he got out.
Mate, I tell you what, we've got an exciting 20 to 25 minutes coming up. And the next 5 overs or so could decide the fate of this game and maybe decide the fate of this tournament. If you told Indonesia that Japan would be 60 for 3 after 8 overs, they definitely would have taken that before the game. Going at less than 8 runs and over. Down the ground. Yeah, there you go, long on, making no mistake. Indonesia, they're bowling really, really well. This, of course, is an artificial deck, and Japan got off to an absolute flyer. They were 38 for 1 after 3 overs. Just 23 runs have come in the last 31 deliveries, and Japan have lost 2 wickets in that time as well. I've got to say, Makoto Taniyama with that needless run out. That wasn't the best bit of cricket. There was never a second run on. And Ibi Takahashi, well, that wicket, I think the credit goes to Eddie Artavan. Building up that dot ball pressure. That's guided away. Still looking for his first run, Sabarish Ravichandran. Ooh, just beating that short cover fielder, Gaman. The skipper unable to cut that off. So he's off the mark finally. Ravichandran off his 3rd delivery. And James, if you're Kendall Karawaki Fleming, how do you play it from now on? 3 balls left in Ramamurthy's spell. Ooh, that's a full toss. Perhaps a bit lucky to get away with that one. That might have also struck Ravichandran on the pad before ricocheting too long off.
Well, I think he just has to play his natural game. He's obviously reading it as well as he can because there has been a bit of movement in the air out there. There's moisture around. It's tricky underfoot for everyone.
Oh, play and a miss. That one just going on with the arm.
The pitch is skidding a little bit. It's there was a lot of rain last night. Of course, the covers were on, but you could tell out there it wasn't going to be that easy.
Just 3 runs off the over, and it stays the same. 3 runs off Kiruba Ramamurthy's final over, and what a spell. 29 he's conceded in his 4 overs. And of course, he bowled in the power play as well. Indonesia looking good. The opposition 63 for 3 after 9.
And the key is he doesn't have to overcomplicate things or panic. There's plenty of time. 10 more overs. His presence out there is probably imperative if they want to go towards a really big total, which they were on target for. Now the run rate down to 7. But of course it just takes 2 big shots from Karawaki Fleming in each over and you're averaging 10 and over. The fight back continues with Artawan. Oh, he's gone big, and it's big, it's 6. That's what we're used to from Kendall Karawaki Fleming. Straight over long off, as you can see. He's sliced it a little, but it's enough for 6 runs. Big swing of the bat. Great hand-eye, make sure of it. He moves to 31. Lovely shot. Oh, he's gone. Wonderful stumping, fooled by Artawan, who follows Karawaki Fleming off the pitch, giving him a bit of a send-off. Sure, Kendall wouldn't mind. He plays his cricket in Australia where they love a good send-off. There he goes. Wow, just deceived him down leg. Karawaki Fleming on the move, caught out of his crease. Sharp stumping chance. Off he goes. Japan 69 for 3. Great work from Ahmed Ramdoni. He needed to be quick. He was. Little strategy. Karawaki Fleming trying to get down the pitch, use his feet to the spinner. And Artawan, too clever on this occasion, just dragged it down leg side. This keeper was there for him. It's a really nice wicket, an important wicket, the biggest wicket really. The captain is gone, and now Alex Shirai Patmore. Surely a keeper won't get stumped because that's what he is, and he had a great game yesterday. Oh! Edges it through the vacant slip area, and that's one way to start the... Oh, sorry, that was Alex Shirai Patmore. What a way to get off the mark.
Tell you what, mate, I'm on the edge of my seat. It's a fantastic shot from Kendall Karawaki Fleming, but out of the very next delivery. 2 wickets for Eddie Artawan. And he continues to build that pressure straight back to the bowler. Look at that, it's a new Indonesia. Barely making any mistakes in the field and piling on the pressure with the ball. Last ball of the over. Oh, look at that. Using his feet not quite to the pitch of the ball, but squeezes it down to long off for a single. And I gotta say, at the halfway mark, it's Indonesia on top. Japan 71 for 4.
Well, it's the scorecard there, or the bowling. And Artawan, he's been the star. 2 for 9. I love that stumping. Just tricking, deceiving Karawaki Fleming. And he's been impressive. Then we have Paddy Survey. He stopped the rot because there was a lot going wrong there. He only went for 6 and over. So this is 2 newish batsmen, really. You've got Alex Shirai Patmore, Shabarish Ravichandran. And because the other day it was just dominated by Kendall Karawaki Fleming, and then yesterday Yamamoto Lake, we haven't seen much of these guys bat compared to the other players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That can be an issue when your top order's absolutely on fire. Everyone else in that lower middle order doesn't get much of a shot. And I tell you what, 71 for 4, we were talking about Indonesia maybe restricting Japan to 156, 160. And I think Japan would do well to get to 160 from this point. Well, there you go, helped by a wide delivery. Ferdinando Banu Naik, you've got to do better than that. But I have to say, Paddy Survey and Kiruba Ramamurthy just changing the course of this innings before Eddie Artawan chipped in with those 2 wickets. And honestly, I would not have seen this coming. At the 3-over mark, Japan were well on top. They bossed the first half of that power play. They were 38 for 1 after 3 overs. But they've been losing consistent wickets since then. That's guided away, but there's a third man in position. Yet another dot ball. Not too often you see Sabarish Ravichandran on 2 off 9. You can see him just shadow batting. He knows there was a huge gap there between a backward point and a short cover fielder. Oh, he goes down the ground. I don't think he's got all of it. Long on, settles under it and takes it. They've lost half their side now. Japan, Indonesia. Look at this. They are back in contention, I beg your pardon, for that regional final.
Wow, Japan in trouble. This is big. And Ravichandran went big, and it backfired. A lovely catch down on the boundary. There he goes. It was never going to be enough. It didn't feel like it. Skied it. And the fielder down there kept his nerve. Lovely take. Yeah, why not? Celebrate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maxi Coda.
Maxi Coda. And see, this is what can happen when you field well, you take your catches. You build so much pressure on the opposition. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Indonesia, they've been a different team since that 3-4 over mark. They're not conceding any needless runs, courtesy misfields. They're holding on to their catches. They're not conceding too many extras. And they keep piling on the pressure. 72 for 5. Well, mate, James, this is an artificial surface. So it goes without saying, this is not a 72 for 5 kind of surface.
No, and Japan in trouble. Banu Naik, he's keen. Hasn't conceded a run off the bat.
I'll tell you what, Japan, they bat deep. We still have Shogo Kimura to come. We still have Reo Sakurano Thomas. But someone's got to stand up. That's tucked away on the leg side. Declan Suzuki off the mark, off his very first delivery.
That was good from Suzuki. This is what you need to do. If the team's in trouble, work it around, keep things moving, ticking over till you find some form. And I just like the body language of the Indonesian side. They Artawan following off Kendall Karawaki Fleming, almost escorting him from the field, and then Maxi Coda taking a catch right in front of the Japanese dugout there, the tent.
That's tucked away on the leg side. This is a run-out chance. Oh my word, it's all happening at the Sano International Cricket Ground. James, I can barely believe what's happening right now.
It's amazing how the worm has turned. Even if we show the worm at some point, we'll see it. It was started off just coming straight out of the ground, the early bird. Or the early worm, if you will. And now another streaky shot went through him, went through Suzuki.
Mate, I tell you what, that actually looked like a half volley to me. But Declan Suzuki didn't get enough of a stride forward and nearly inside edged that onto his own stumps.
There we go, it's the Japanese dugout. There he is, the coach. Dougal Bedingfield, distant cousin of Daniel and Natasha Bedingfield. He's got to get through this. And in the end, it's up to his batters to do something and perform a rescue mission. But he's gone with some big hitters. So, like you say, Shogo Kimura, Reo Sakurano Thomas, they're all to come.
That's tossed up. That's an optimistic appeal. I don't think there was any bat on that.
Well, I think he's trying to prevent a wide, and he's done it. So that's a nice bit of gamesmanship from the Indonesian keeper.
I'll tell you what, Indonesia's bowlers have been very, very good throughout the tournament. It's their third game, of course. This is down the leg side. Bit of a commentator's curse, but it's only going to be 2 runs. We're waiting for the signal from the umpire. No signal, so that was off the bat. And Alex Shirai Patmore moves on to 4 off 4 deliveries. And James, if you're Japan right now, what is your game plan going forward?
Well, to consolidate and then launch, they can't afford to lose too many wickets.
Tossed up and straight to backward point.
I would maybe play with the batting lineup as well. Elevate Sakurano Thomas and save Shogo Kimura for the fireworks at the end.
Tell you what, Eddie Artavan has barely put a foot wrong in this spell. Right on the money yet again. Just 2 runs off the over, 2 balls left. And they keep doing this, Indonesia. They keep depriving Japan of boundaries. And I believe since the power play, the only boundary we've seen is that lofted 6 over long off by Kendall Karuaki Fleming. He departed next ball. Well, that's not going to be a boundary either. Straight to backward point once again.
Well, Dougal Bedingfield, the Japanese coach, has already tweaked the order. He sent Declan Suzuki ahead of Shogo Kimura, so we may see more of that. Just some more technically correct batters coming through.
Look at that, shorter, flatter. Backward point's been busy in this over. Just 2 runs off it. 4 dot balls to close things out. And Japan struggling, 76 for 5 after 12.
Well, Shirai Patmore, plenty of experience. I think he's about in his 30s. Wonderful keeper. Yesterday had a huge game. Just an unbelievable exhibition of glovemanship. And now he is needed by Japan to perform a rescue mission. 76 for 5. Banu Naik.
Successful first over for Banu Naik. That's whipped away nicely, but he finds the fielder yet again. Just a single here to Japan. And I tell you what, we have, 7 overs left after this. Japan would do really well to get up to 150. And I just get the feeling 150 is not going to be enough on an artificial deck. And it gives Indonesia a chance to dramatically improve their net run rate as well. That's squeezed away past Gully. And look at that, when it's not going for you, it's just not going for you. Still just a single here for Japan. And that Japanese dugout has been quiet for the last 40 to 45 minutes. Not much to cheer for them. And the crowd as well. I'll tell you what, we have maybe 3, 4, 5 dozen Japanese supporters. That's into the deep. Oh!
Wow.
Deep square leg, chooses not to attack that ball. And I think he made a wise decision as well, Wayan Budiarta.
Yeah, that was a tracer bullet. It was flat. He would have maybe got it in the face, but as long as he saves those 4 runs, because they've put the clamps on.
That's full. Look at that. Right into the block hole. Indonesia. I am impressed.
It's nice, a dot ball from Badu Naik. And Shirai Patmore, it's something of a comeback for him. He was in the team last in the Japanese team in 2014. Recalled this year.
Oh, rushing onto the left-hander. Quick single. They just about make it in. And that's the thing, Japan. They're not able to score boundaries. So they're taking big risks just to get singles and twos. Indonesia. That run rate now just above a run a ball at one stage. Japan were going in excess of 12 runs and over. That 12 came down to 11, which came down to 10, came down to 9. And I think you know where I'm going with this. That's uppish, down to long off. And once again, a big risk taken for just a single. A good over, 5 runs off it. The pressure continuing to build. 81 for 5. We have 7 overs left.
Well, we've got an old head and we've got some young shoulders out there. Declan Suzuki, a 19-year-old. He was at school last year in Melbourne at high school. And then we've got Alex Shirai Patmore. He's been averaging 100 for the Tokyo Wombats, so they just had to recall him. But it's been a while between drinks. 6 years in the wilderness. the Wombat, and he's come back. They need his bat right now. He's played some at a pretty good level in other countries as well.
Once again, finding the block hole. Well done, Eddie Artavan. Demonstrating really good control for a wrist spinner. And I get the feeling Dougal Bedingfield has been sending out his left-handers to counter the leg spin of Eddie Artavan. But Eddie Artavan has been responding with... in fact, I don't think he's bowled too many traditional leg spinners, choosing to go with those wrong ends. Once again, into the offside. Ooh, a bit of a misfield. It's not going to cost Indonesia anything. So 2 singles to kick off the 14th over. And of course, just 1 boundary coming since the power play. That's 6 from Kendall Karawaki Fleming. So just 1 boundary in the last 44 deliveries. Declan Suzuki on strike. Tossed up, goes big. Does he find the gap? Absolutely not. Deep mid-wicket. Great anticipation and keeps it down to a single yet again.
Oh, that's nice from Artawan, just giving it some air. He is toying with him at the moment. And Suzuki had to wait for it. And just the 1 run.
I sense a sweep or a reverse sweep coming.
Oh!
Can't sweep those away. Look at that. Eddie Artavan threatening the outside edge throughout his spell. What a spell it's been. 2 for 14. He has 2 deliveries left. Can he pick up his 3rd wicket? Shorter, a play and a miss. No, it's not a play and a miss. It's nicked through. 6 down now for Japan. He's taken 3 wickets. Eddie Artavan.
Well, Artawan, you are a magician. This was wonderful cricket. He's been varying it, tossed it up, gave it some flight with a couple of deliveries, but this time, just the deception from Artawan. Shirai Patmore on his way. Oh, lovely. Is reaching for it. It's a desperate shot, trying to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Nice take as well. Keep it. Got the feather, and Artawan, 3 wickets for 14 runs. He's been magnificent this morning here at the Sano International Cricket Ground.
Mate, I tell you what, I'm calling it. This is the single best spell from any bowler in this tournament, given the context, given the strength of the batting lineup, and given the fact that we're playing on an artificial surface. Eddie Artavan, he can do no wrong today. 3 for 14. He's got 1 delivery left in his spell. And Japan, they're going at just a hint over a run a ball. This is not good enough from the home team.
Yeah, it's just been a wonderful spell from Artawan. This is how you change your game. You can influence the game as a bowler in T20. And we're witnessing it right here.
Look at that. Shogo Kimura walking in at number 8. A genuine batter. Make no mistake about that. He's eyeing up that leg side boundary. First ball for Shogo Kimura. Tossed up. Ooh. Look at that. Yet another successful over for Eddie Artavan and a fantastic spell. 3 for 14 in his 4 overs.
So now Shogo Kimura, a 42-year-old ex-baseball pro. He likes to hit big, and he'll be glad that Artawan has finished his spell, and maybe that's the reason why they sent Kimura out, thinking, well, the danger man is done. Kimura won't have to face that deception. And there we go, that's the Manhattan. Look at that. Started off so brightly, started off in Tokyo, ended up in Sano. When you look at that.
Ferdinando Banunayak has been smashed through the offside, but they're not able to find the gaps. Japan. What drama here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. I tell you what, the stakes couldn't be higher. Whoever finishes on top in this tournament will go through to that regional final against PNG Vanuatu in the Philippines. And they're going to have a 1 in 4 shot to make it to the World Cup itself. an expanded 20-team event in the year 2024.
Oh,
the
wow.
And for the first time in this innings, Japan's run rate has dipped below 6 runs per over. And we keep adjusting that expected total for Japan. I tell you what, they do really well from this point to get up to 140. But I don't think 140 is going to be enough to win this game. Here we go, Banu Nayak. That's over pitched, squeezed over extra cover. They're thinking about 2. Are they going to come back for it? Yes, they do. Well done, Shogo Kimura and Declan Suzuki. The 19-year-old and the 42-year-old at the crease right now.
Yeah, it's a nice shot from a ex-baseballer, not a natural baseball shot. Is it the lofted drive over extra cover? And he played it well. It's a bit of a relief, I'd say, because his first 2 deliveries, he was out of sorts. It's got that very baseball-style stance as Banu Nayak comes in.
That's tucked away down to fine leg. In fact, a vacant fine leg region. And they're going to come back for 2 yet again. Consecutive 2s here for Japan. They're not picking up the boundaries, so it's important, turning those 1s into 2s.
Yeah, this is good cricket from Kimura. He needs to, it's a 19-over game, so he does need to accelerate the scoreboard, and if he's getting 2s, that's okay. I know he'll want to go big at some point, though.
That's full, squeezed into the offside, and it's yet another single. And of course, Indonesia worked their way back into this contest gradually. They were consistent, they put the ball in the right areas, built up some dot ball pressure. It wasn't just a spontaneous implosion from Japan. It was a steady build-up of pressure, and that's what Japan have to do as well. Just rebuild and go hard in the final few overs. That's well hit. And I think he's found the gap, a welcome boundary here between that deep square leg and deep fine leg region. Well done, Declan Suzuki. We've got 5 overs left, Japan 94 for 6.
Well, it's almost a sweep glance, isn't it, really? He got down into the proposal position, down on one knee, waited for it, guided it on its way. It's very savvy cricket from Suzuki.
Look at that batting card, Lockie Yamamoto Lake, 22 off 9. Hit his very first ball for 6. Not much to speak of since then. Kendall Karawaki Fleming departing. 1 ball after smacking a 6 over long off for 31 off 23. 11 off 9, not out for Declan Suzuki. 5 not out for Shogo Kimura. Japan 94 for 6. And it looks like Karek Gamantika. Nope. Someone else into the attack, maybe.
Oh, that's Garmin. That's Garmin Ponting there, I believe.
Ah, there you go. His hair's getting a little bit longer.
Yeah.
There you go. Starts with the dot ball. He's a reliable operator, the skipper for Indonesia. He's going to have a big role to play with the bat as well.
Just 4 overs to go now.
Oh, that could have been the 7th wicket down. Short cover. Perhaps you need to come in just a little bit more. Shogo Kimura. He's not well set at the crease, not yet at least.
Oh, wow.
It's close, wasn't it? Smashed through the offside, just single.
Yep, hit with more conviction than Shogo. He got caught in that no man's land with that shot. And so did the fielder, really wasn't quite there. So, Garmin into bowl.
Cut away. Oh, unable to find the gap. He hit that well, but backward point makes no mistake. Well done, Garmin, pulling things back after the boundary off the final ball of that 15th over. 1 run off this over, 2 balls left. Down the ground, just evading Karek Gamantika, but it's only going to be a single. Tell you what, 2 runs off the 16th over, and in the death overs of the innings, 3 dot balls in this over, like absolute gold dust. Look at that high backlift from Shogo Kimura. Ooh, bit of an edge on that, down to the third man region. And a good slide from that third man fielder, keeps it down to a single. A sharp chance, I have to say, for the keeper. It does technically go down as a drop, but only 3 runs off the over. 97 for 6, 4 overs remaining.
Yeah, that was just a bonus run there. Gamantika, lovely captain's effort from him coming in and keeping the brakes on. So with 3 runs off that over, Japan moved to 97 for 6. We were honestly looking at 200 at the start of this innings, and they've got now 3 overs to launch, and I think it is time to launch. They've got Shogo Kimura out there. He is looking every bit the baseball pro that he was, as he looks at all these boundaries and fielders and says, I'm coming for you. Here we go. Kimura to face.
Valuable dot ball. That mid-wicket fielder, Kadek Gamantika, the skipper, making no mistake.
Well, that feels quite deliberate, doesn't it, from the Indonesians. They've pitched it up to the baseballer. They know that there's nothing they want to leave in that strike zone, in that wheelhouse.
Mate, I can sense a big shot coming right now. Japan, you have to go for it. Ooh, bit of an anticlimax. Pulls out of his run up there, Sunny Hawo. And Sunny Hawo, of course, a second-generation cricketer for Indonesia. His father also played for the nation in the early 2000s. And Sunny Hawo is also a development officer for Indonesian cricket. He's coming over the wicket now to Shogo Kimura.
Oh, no.
Yeah, going down leg side there. Should sneak through for a cheeky leg by. And yes, there you go. A belated signal from the umpire, but the right signal, of course.
It's probably not a bad thing that Kimura goes down the other end just to regather. And Suzuki looked like he was improving and wanting to accelerate. Oh, beautiful delivery. And he's in trouble.
Chance.
He's gone.
Look at that, yet another run out for Japan. And a needless run out, it has to be said. It's the relatively well-set batter, Declan Suzuki, who's now walking back to a very, very quiet Japanese dugout.
Well, the body language has been great from the Indonesians. And I love this bowling right up into the block hole. Clamps down on it, Suzuki. There's no run there. Gets sent back. And the captain, Gamantika, on his knees and just says, yes, please, off you go. Sending him on his way. And he gets a carry as well. Carry the captain, why not? He's your leader. He's been doing really well so far. He'll be happy with this. 98 for 7. This is Reo Sakurano Thomas coming out. Wow. Japan reeling.
I'll tell you what, this is some fantastic execution from Indonesia. They've found the block hole on maybe around 10 occasions so far in this innings. And we spoke about this earlier as well, just trying to take the pitch out of the equation. And maybe they've got a link to this commentary feed. Who knows? Maybe James McConey and Jay Datsagani have a future as team analysts. Full yet again. Look at that, Kadek Gamantika. He's been a live wire in that cover region. Saved at least 5 or 6 runs so far today.
Well, he is, like his hero Ricky Ponting, a really nice cover fieldsman. And he's bowled a nice over as well.
Just slowing it up there. Good variation from Sunny Hawo. And only 1 run, in fact. Yes, 1 run off this over. That was a leg by, of course. And the big wicket of Declan Suzuki. And make no mistake, it was that dot ball pressure, that run rate pressure that led to that needless run out. 1 ball left in the 17th over. Can he make this a wicket maiden? Absolutely. Well bowled, Sunny Hawo. Responding with a wicket maiden in his very first over. Only 3 overs left. Japan, things going from bad to worse to absolutely disastrous for them. They're 98 for 7. We have 18 balls left in this innings.
There we go. The star of the show, of course, was Artawan, but already loves what I've seen from Hawo, and Gamantaka came in too, just adding something as the captain with a really tight 3-run over. Back there, and it's more from the captain.
Kimura on strike, smashes that to mid-wicket. Mid-wicket, Eddie Artavan does really well, keeps it down to a single in spite of a very awkward bounce.
Well, yeah, it was actually, that looked like a freebie for Kimura, given 3 days ago he would have dispatched that over the boundary. But he's just been, look at him, you can see 8 from 12, struggling along.
Reo Sakurana Thomas on strike, his parents are in the crowd.
And
Tomo.
grandparents. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone for a duck. Hits it straight to Gaman. In fact, straight to Eddie Artavan at that short cover position. 99 for 8 now. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Indonesia, you've barely put a foot wrong in the last 1 hour.
Wow, what tactics and what bowling. Gamantaka, he's sent someone else to his specialist position. He's on fire, the captain. He's had a hand in plenty of the last few wickets with his run out, and now taking a wicket. Reo Sakurano Thomas, just, it was a nothing shot to cover, a short cover, and plucked by the fielder there. No problems at all. Japan 99 for 8. What is happening? This is opposite day.
Mate, honestly, before this game, we were talking about Indonesia maybe bowling Japan out for 150, 160, chasing it down in 15 overs. Into the leg side. Ooh, good piece of fielding. Look at that. When it's going for you, it's really going for you. The 41-year-old Paddy Survey. Come on, he's not 41. Oh, my word. Teenagers would struggle to replicate that effort.
Oh, he's gone! Wow, Piyush Kumbhare cannot handle the captain, Garmin Karek Gamantaka, with another wicket. This man is on fire.
James, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This is not a 99 for 9 sort of wicket. Japan. Whew.
Oh, the Ronaldo celebration. Look at that. You've got to love it. Just. Oh, well, that's just outstanding stuff. I haven't seen Ricky Ponting, his hero, do this. So he's got one up on Ricky.
Tell you what, mate, I've commentated on a lot of associate cricket in the last year and a half. This is one of the better bowling performances I've seen in my time in commentary boxes all around Asia. I cannot believe this. 99 for 9. Indonesia, they've pegged things back so well. Looking for that 10th wicket.
Look at him. Gamantaka. He's all over the place. He's everywhere.
Tell you what, Karek Gamantaka definitely a better bowler than Ricky Ponting was.
Yeah.
He's making a huge impact here. The Indonesian skipper tosses it up. And that's pushed into the offside. 100 up now for Japan. But the important thing is they've lost 9 wickets. And we only have 2 overs left in the first half of this game. Indonesia, the team in red, they've been red hot in the last hour or so. And they're well in control right now. In fact, yeah, of course, only 1 over left.
Yeah,
It's
1 over.
reduced.
That's right. It's reduced to 19. So this is it. 6 balls, and at least they've got a big hitter out there. Shogo Kimura. the former baseball pro, played for 3 clubs, I think, in Japan. And he's at the wrong end, but they really need to get him on strike, I think. So a quick single here would probably do the trick.
Sunny Habo yet to concede a single run? Well, until now.
There we go. This is what they want. Japan, they need him. It's 100 up as well, 100 for 9. No one really celebrating on the boundary, of course not. It's not an illustrious 100 by any means. And now Shogo Kimura. He looks at the boundary. The man who played for Yokohama, Hiroshima and Saitama in the Japanese Baseball League.
Finds the block hole yet again. And a familiar result. It's just a single here for Japan. Only 2 boundaries coming since that power play. A 6 from Kendall Kadawaki Fleming and a 4 whipped away by Declan Suzuki. They've done so well here, Indonesia. And they've bowled well throughout the tournament, I have to say. They might even be the best bowling side so far in this tournament. And I think this is definitely, pound for pound, the best team bowling performance I've seen at these regional Group B qualifiers. Sub-regional, in fact, the regional final next year. And I tell you what, Indonesia looking really good in this contest. That's down the ground.
There we
How
go.
far has that gone?
Not far
Not
enough.
far enough. And taken. That's all she wrote. Japan 103 all out. Shogo Kimura not happy with himself. They're unable to bat out their overs. James McConey, what do you make of this?
Unbelievable, the wheels coming off this Japanese innings. Just didn't get enough in that, and they got, I guess, wrestled down after a really bright start and thwarted by some really tight and nice full bowling as well. The block hole, that catch, regulation. They've been up in the field as well, Indonesia. Great body language. Just restricting Japan to 103. It's not going to be that difficult, you'd think, for Indonesia. Well, it just means the equation is in their favour. However, Japan, they've got firepower. Probably regretting leaving Kubota out of the side now. But there we go. Have a look at that scorecard, Jay.
Oh my God, look, 22 of 9 for Loki Yamamoto Lake. He looked in brilliant form. Got out while trying to step on the accelerator. I have no issues with that, but the rest of the batting lineup, not much to speak of. 31 of 23 for Kendall Kadawaki Fleming, and only one other player getting into double figures, Declan Suzuki. Needlessly run out when he was looking relatively well set. 103 all out in 18.4 overs. Let's take a look at that bowling card. 15 in his only over for Maxi Coda, but everyone else after that stepped up to the plate. Paddy Survey started the fire, 1 for 18 in his 3 overs, but Eddie Artavan, the star of the show, 3 for 14 in his 4 over quota.
Yeah, it was lovely bowling from the Indonesians. Artawan, Survey, just restricting them, stifling that usually free-flowing Japanese batting lineup. And then Kadawaki Fleming and Lake, who have been the stars with the bat for Japan in this series. But how about Gamantika, the captain with the peroxide here, that blonde ambition just out there, egging on his troops, getting the best out of them, staying in the game, fielding brilliantly in the covers and bowling that really incredibly nice 2-over spell. You don't see much of that. 2 for 5. And Artawan, like you say, is probably the best bowling performance we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to your point about Kadek Gamantika, bowling his 2 overs at the death as well. 2 for 5 at the death of the innings. And don't go too far, of course. We'll be back with you for the second innings. I'm your commentator for the day, one of two commentators, Jay Singhani. You can follow me on Twitter at Jay Singhani. James McConey, it's been a pleasure being joined by you. And don't go too far. We'll be back in around 8 minutes from now for the second innings. Welcome back to the second innings of Japan versus Indonesia. It's the final day of the East Asia Pacific Sub-Regional Qualifier B. And I have to say, it's been a very, very dramatic day so far. On an artificial surface, Indonesia have bowled Japan out for just 103. This, of course, is a reduced 19-over game. Let's take a look at that batting card. 22 of 9 for Loki Yamamoto Lake. 31 off 23 for Kendall Karawaki Fleming, but the innings absolutely fell apart after that power play. A huge collapse for Japan, 103 all out. Let's take a look at that bowling card. 15 off the very first over from Maxi Koda, but after that it was all Indonesia. A brilliant bowling performance highlighted by 3 for 14 by the leg spinner Eddie Artawan. And look at that. The players, they're on the field. The two batters walking to the crease right now. We're going to get confirmation on who that is. It's a little bit bright up here in the commentary box, so I'm just a little bit blinded. But I'm sure a lot of you are interested in net run rate equations. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. But wow. What drama at the Sano International Cricket Ground. If you want to help us grow awareness about associate cricket, share the link to this stream with your friends and family, whether you're watching on icc.tv or Fancode. And look at that, the quick, the speedy, the rapid Reo Sakurano Thomas will be opening things up for Japan. Missed out with the bat, but he's going to want to make an impression with the ball. And I tell you what, that net run rate could come into effect. If Indonesia chase this target down in 11 overs, their net run rate will improve to something. Well, hey, I'm going to get back to that in a second. Left alone, the umpire gets some exercise, and Indonesia get their first runs on the board. Like I said, if Indonesia chase this down in around 11 overs, their net run rate will improve to something in the region of 1.05, and Japan's net run rate will reduce to 2.44, approximately that amount. Here we go, Agus Priyandana on strike. Ooh, he was thinking about playing that and bails out of the shot in the very last moment. We have a slip in position. It looks like Piyush Kambare in that slip cordon. And Alex Shirai Patmore missed out with the bat. He's behind the stumps. Sakurano Thomas looking for an early breakthrough. You're not going to get wickets like that. Second wide delivery of the game. And James McConey joining us in the commentary box. In case you missed that, James, if Indonesia chase this down in 11 overs, Japan's net run rate will drop to 2.44, and Indonesia's net run rate will improve to 1.05. Here we go, second ball of the over. Oh, Piyush Kambare puts that down. An early chance here and an early reprieve for Indonesia.
Wow, well, that's the benefit of going big. It zings a bit more off the bat, but still a chance put down. And that's always tough for a first slip when it's rising, because the bat has been swung at it. It's not just a regulation edge, if you like, a dull bat. It's zinging off with a bit of spin and a bit of action on it. But you don't like to see it put down at this level. Sakurano Thomas, good sign there. He's got the radar back on.
Oh, playing a miss.
Big shout. Oh. What happened there? Wow, what's going on?
I'm pretty sure it was an appeal for caught behind. I didn't hear any bat on that. What's going on here? The two umpires coming down, coming together.
Oh, he's gone.
We definitely have to take a look at that replay. What happened there, James?
Looked like he wanted to see maybe where the catch was held. Consulting with the square leg umpire.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm not entirely sure what that appeal was
There's
for.
a replay. Oh, it was low. He couldn't see it. He couldn't see whether it was a half volley or not. And says, was that up? Had to go over and check. He said, wait 1 second.
So I can only assume that was given out LBW.
No, I think he was checking to see whether the catch was held, was up above the ground. He was saying, was it up?
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice any edge on that. I have to be completely honest. Look at that. Indonesia, they're not too happy with that. But nonetheless, it's the big wicket of Kiruba Ramamurthy walking back to the dugout. Look at that. A lot of confusion, and the drama continues here at the Sano International Cricket Ground.
Well, this is what you want to see from your big fast bowler, Leo Sakurano Thomas. Just danger, spitting fire here in Sano. Oh, that's another one. And did it drop a little bit before that second slip? Wow. This is great stuff from Sakurano Thomas. Here he comes. Reo. Oh, swing and a miss from Gamantika. Probably just happy to be there after that last ball that went down. Or bounced just ahead of the slip. So that scorecard isn't progressing down underneath. Oh, and that's 4 runs. Gamantika really just throws the bat at it, and 4 runs down to backward point. And even though Sakurano Thomas concedes 7, that wicket is valuable. And we'll see what they're going to do here, Indonesia. They need to score quickly if they're serious about winning this tournament and progressing to the East Asia Pacific qualifying final.
Mate, I tell you what, all action in that first over. A contentious decision from the umpire. I wasn't too sure. Like, I called it as well. I said a play and a miss. But I guess the umpire disagreed with me. But I tell you what, it's the umpires who get paid the money to be out there. They're the professionals. So I'm not going to sit up here on the 3rd floor of this building and disagree with them. Oh, it's put down yet again. Is that Kambare? Second drop catch of the innings from Piyush Kambare. You've got to do better than that.
Yeah, you've got to have safe hands at first slip. I'll excuse the first one because it was coming on hot, but that one there, well, it's an angle thing. He thought the keeper was going to go for that. And to be honest, the keeper should have gone for it.
Kento Ota Dobel, I beg your pardon. It's a little bit too wide.
Yeah, he was lucky that was in no man's land, but I think Shirai Patmore might just have to own that space, especially on a day like today. You've got the gloves, it's soggy out there.
Oh, getting on top of the bounce of that one and smashing it away through the offside. Good start here for Kadek Gamantika.
Wow, that's meat and drink for Gamantika. Just leans back and cuts it, even waited for it. And for a player of his class, there's no worries there. Sends it behind point for 4. And that's spooked the bowler. He's forced him into a wide. So Gamantika putting some pressure on. And you know what? This is a power play. You look at, forget the total for a second. If they can go big in this power play, I think it'll go a long way to victory.
Driven confidently, and it's going to be the second boundary of the over, this time off the front foot, finding that gap between backward point and cover.
Well, Gamantaki was so magnificent in the field, wasn't he? The energy, wanted to be carried at one point, did the Ronaldo celebration after one wicket, always geeing up his fielders, making sure that the energy's high and the belief.
A valuable dot ball here for Japan. And I tell you what, Indonesia, they lost a wicket in that first over, but it's been a quick start for them. 18 for 1. And we have 2 deliveries left in the second over. Like I said, if Indonesia can chase this down in 11 overs, according to my calculations, their NRR will improve to 1.05. Japan's will drop to 2.44.
Oh!
Look at that, a little bit wrong-footed. Karek Amantika, a play and a miss.
Well, Japan have already changed their tactics by starting with 2 medium paces, 2 seamers, and we normally see spin from them early on.
That's a good way to close out the second over, but a very, very expensive one. 11 runs off it, including 2 boundaries for Karek Gamantika, 18 for 1 after 2.
So you mentioned that equation before, Jay, but what does it all mean? You mentioned who goes up and who goes down, but what's their starting points and who would end up in front?
Yeah, so Japan would still be ahead of
Okay.
Indonesia, but Indonesia have 1 game left against South Korea. So Indonesia need a big win right now, and they need another big win against South Korea. And I like this from Japan. They're bringing Piyush Kambare into the attack, and he's got to redeem himself. He's already put down 2 catches in the slip court in Piyush Kambare. And can the Amazon man deliver?
Yeah, exactly. He was saying he's quite happy for us to mention Amazon and his deliveries, of which yesterday they were outstanding. Same day deliveries from Piyush Kambare, the senior programmer for Amazon.
Oh, that's one heck of a delivery, a big appeal. The umpire shakes his head. Maybe that one just going down the leg side. Runs back to his bowling mark, Piyush Kambare.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Maybe slipping down leg side, maybe clipping leg. Second ball. Rushes onto the batter. Consecutive dot balls to kick off Kambare's spell. Oh, a big grunt from Kambare. I tell you what, I think it was, I think he was just trying to fool the Indonesian batter, Agus Priyandana there. He actually held that back. Driven. Oh, there you go. That man at short cover nearly cutting it off. I tell you what though, a very important over. Japan, even if you can't win this game, if you can ensure that you drag it out until the 15th over maybe, you make things much harder for Indonesia in terms of regional final qualification. Nudged into the leg side, but Indonesia, they need boundaries. They need a big net run rate boost.
Well, Kambare is such a miserly bowler. He's clever, he's savvy, varies it. His stock delivery is quite rapid as well for a spinner.
Pushes it through. That's a good way to end a very impressive over from Piyush Kambare. Indonesia 20 for 1 after 3.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Kambare being carted away anywhere, so this is something that Indonesia will have to give some serious thought to. Who do they go after? Because you can't muck around in the power play. I think the fact they've only lost 1 wicket is a good thing. They're around that sort of just under 7 runs and over. They need to stay like that just so that there's no risk of losing if there's a collapse.
And we see a change of bowling yet again. So all 3 overs so far have been bowled by a different bowler. And make that all 4 of the first 4 overs will be bowled by a different bowler. Leg spinner Sabarish Ravichandran into the attack. Got a short cover in position. That's nudged into the leg side. Japan doing well to drag things back in the last over and a half. Yet another dot ball. So the last 9 balls for Indonesia, they've only picked up 2 singles. Good spell of play here for Japan. Tossed up, driven straight to Loki Yamamoto Lake at short cover. Consecutive dot balls to kick off his spell for Sabarish Ravichandran. Indonesia going at exactly 6 runs per over. Punched. Make that 3 dot balls. James, pressure on Indonesia.
Yeah, Ravichandran, we saw this from him as well. These two operating nicely in tandem with Kumbari, his clubmate down the other end.
Tries to go big, a thickish inside edge into the leg side for just a single. And there's batting to come for Indonesia, of course. They still have Badi Survey. And they also have... I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Ooh, that was really short. I think it was there for the taking. But just rushing on to Agus Priyandana.
Well, Paddy Survey is one player that would really benefit from being involved in a power play. Not that you want to lose a wicket, but he seems to be able to score runs at will anyway. And that's a nice delivery. It could be... Oh, it's so close.
Oh, God. Piyush Kumbari just about dragging that back. And it looks like they've actually come back for 3. A good piece of running from Indonesia. And yes, it should be 3 to close out that over. Look at that. Onto that in a flash. There you go. 5 runs off the over. 25 for 1 after 4.
Well, it sounds like the Indonesians down there, they're the ones doing the chanting. It's wonderful stuff. But they're using, there we go, they're using the slip catch ramp, the fielding ramp, and some water bottles. Those are the drums.
May I tell you what, Indonesia looking confident. Japan, I just don't see how they're going to rein in Indonesia, or at least prevent defeat in this game. And I think it's all about damage control for the home team. That being said, cricket is a funny game. I'm not going to rule out any of the 3 results today, but Indonesia on top.
This is what we see from Kumbade. He loves to hurry through his overs, doesn't muck around, very economical run-up, pretty much waits till the batter's ready and he's in. And
that's too short. Deep mid wicket, it looks like Declan Suzuki.
A bit of a groan from Kamantaka as he knew he should have cashed in. You don't see that often from Kumbade. And to be honest, it was the fuller pitch deliveries from the Indonesians that were the ones that were so valuable in that first innings.
Oh, a leading edge into that 3rd man region. A lucky single here for Agus Priyandana.
So Gamantaka back on strike. Here comes the Amazon man. Can he deliver?
On the leg side. That's a valuable dot ball. And once again, I think that was a boundary for the taking. 1 ball left in the over, just 2 runs off it. Kumbari didn't concede a boundary in the last game, yet to concede a boundary today.
Well, they want to have a chat. They want to have a mid-pitch conference. And to be honest, I think the reason for this is to disrupt that rhythm that Kumbari has. Just seems to own his overs.
This is something Japan are so good at. They're so good at just racing through their overs. Nudged into the leg side. Yet another dot ball. Well done, Piyush Kumbari. Indonesia, they need to get a move on. 27 for 1 after 5.
Wow, that's nice stuff, isn't it, from Kumbari? He's a man in control. He was the star bowler yesterday for Japan. And He's picking up where he left off. He used to bowl medium pace when he was a youngster in India. When he was a very young cricketer, I think he got hit in the face by the hard ball and just said, okay, I've had enough of that. I might play volleyball or something else for a while. Good sportsman, focused on his studies, and then he came back. And now there we go, down the ground. Good runs, valuable runs for Indonesia. They need to start the overs brightly. They're getting themselves and digging themselves into a hole with all these dot balls. So at least that's runs on the board.
Ooh, a play and a miss. Only 10 runs have come in the last 22 deliveries for Indonesia. And it's been the spinners who've dragged things back, Kumbari and Ravichandran. Oh, a little wrong-footed. Should have been playing forward to that one. Gamantika, he got off to a good start, but he's slowing down. And we can see him just walk away, gather his thoughts. He's eyeing up that leg side, perhaps. Yet another play and a miss, a near action replay. Look at this, Japan. They're not giving up. Tossed up, pushed, down the ground. Oh! Had the fielder made a clean connection, Ibi Takahashi could have effected a run out. Ibi Takahashi, we've seen him open the bowling throughout the tournament. Hasn't been used yet. But Kumbari and Ravichandran, they're turning it on here for Japan. Yet another fantastic over, just 2 runs off it. End of the power play, 29 for 1 after 6.
Yeah, the spin twins from the Tigers Club in Tokyo have done the job, or are doing the job for Japan so far. Kumbari and Ravichandran. There we go. You see Indonesia with the scorecard. Gamantika is the man. He's the captain. And it was a caught behind Reo Sakurano Thomas with the breakthrough. Ramamurthy didn't stay long at all. Golden duck. So, oh.
Yeah, I know. Yet another run-out chance. A better throw.
Come on, let's just. But these two, I mean, the way they rush through the overs, they hurry the batsmen with their deliveries. It's nice work. They're just in sync. Should form a boy band.
Oh, that's a big appeal. The umpire's not interested.
I love how Piyush, he's such a man of integrity, goes, no appeal from me. I know exactly what went wrong there. I will rectify this. I'm a systems analyst and senior programmer. I can do better.
Oh, look, an inside edge onto his pad. Agus Priyandana has struggled throughout his innings. And I gotta say, you know what? There's a chance of a Japanese victory here. And if they win, forget about net run rate. Japan will go through to that regional final. Tossed up. Oh, a thickish inside edge. He's threatening both edges of the bat here, Piyush Kumbari. And look at that, Alex Shirai Patmore.
With a specky, an absolute ripper of a catch. He's so good with the gloves.
Oh my God, that guy can jump high. Alex Shirai Patmore. A big ball of energy. The Japanese wicketkeeper batter. 2 balls left in the over, still no boundaries. Look at that. Piyush Kumbari conceding just 5 runs. He's got 1 ball left in his 3rd over. But Indonesia, you've got to go for it. Look at that, a big grunt left alone and a wide signaled.
Wow. What's happened to the metronome? He's unbelievable, isn't he? Usually with his accuracy. Kumbari.
Turned away on the leg side. It's going to be a single. But singles are not enough here for Indonesia. They need a big net run rate boost. Japan doing really well. 33 for 1 after 7.
So will they try and just see out these spinners? It's interesting because Gamantika is a really busy batsman. He and Paddy Survey had a wonderful partnership the other day, and you don't necessarily wish a wicket to fall, but if Priyandana can't get a wriggle on, then maybe just needs to retire hurt. send out Paddy Survey. No, I think they know what they're doing. They paced their bowling innings so well, and maybe they're going to do the same here as it's another dot ball for Ravi Chandran.
Tell you what, I'm very impressed by the quality of the bowling from both teams so far. Tossed up, finds the block hole and finds his first wicket. Gamantika has been castled. That's a massive breakthrough in the context of this tournament. Indonesia 33 for 2.
Well, the captain has gone. He might have to go and play the drum ramp that they've got on the boundary with his teammates, because look at this. Straight as you like. Lovely flight. Just done by the flight. Gamantika plays all around it. He'd already decided he wanted to go big. And the ball just came down and dipped underneath his bat.
And now walking in at number 4, it might just be Paddy Survey.
Yes, it is.
Look at that. A favorite here in the commentary box, Paddy Survey. He's a sweet timer of the ball. And he's been their best batter throughout this competition. Well, they've only played 2 games before this one, Indonesia. And they're finishing off their tournament with a double-header today. I gotta say, the weather is looking pretty good for now. So we should get a natural conclusion to this contest. But if you're Indonesia, okay, sure, winning is important. It keeps you in the competition. But you have to increase your net run rate, and you have to decrease Japan's net run rate as well. I think it's safe to say Japan's pre-match run rate of 4.67. It's going to come down. Ooh, a quick single, and it could be a run-out chance.
Not with a throw like that. What happened there? That was just one of those ones that skied it, didn't he? Lockie Yamamoto Lake scooting around in the covers.
Leaves it alone. Agus Priyandana. Oh, God, you're trying to improve your net run rate. And you're leaving balls outside the off stump. I mean, it just goes to show how good the bowling's been. Is he going to get away with this one? Deep cover chooses not to go for it, and wisely so. I think that would have probably smacked him in the teeth.
Well, now you're being kind about you were absolutely slaying fielders yesterday for not attacking the ball. Well, there's no danger of that being a boundary. In the end, it could have only been a spectacular catch, and that's when you need to put the afterburners on. There was no heat on it. It was totally a fly ball. And nice and soft out there in the outfield. I'd say you just go in and slide in. There's no way it was going to go past you. It was a 9-9.
The roles have reversed in the commentary box.
I'm the bad cop. That was definitely had a lot of hang time.
Mate, I think it's the second coffee that's made me a lot nicer.
How many coffees have you gone for today?
Oh, just two. I did not go for the 30% extra coffee today. Gone for a standard portion. That's smashed down to long on. Paddy Survey, you got to get him on strike. He's the man in form. Yeah, there you go, Paddy Survey.
Unless you're a fielder with a modelling contract, I think that you should be definitely throwing yourself at a fly ball that's just going to dig into the outfield. But that's okay. They're still travelling all right. Japan, 32 for 6, thanks to these spin twins. The Tigers boys from that club in Tokyo, just around near Disneyland.
We can just see Declan Suzuki getting loose at deep mid-wicket. I wonder if we're going to see a change of bowling. Oh, a quick single. This could be a run out. Alex Shirai Patmore needed a direct hit, but acrobatic work yet again from the Japanese keeper.
Well, I've got to say that's one of the more bizarre singles I've seen. Just the batter running down towards that danger end, decelerating. And I know it's slippery though. It almost looked like he was slowing down.
Down the ground, another useful single here from Indonesia. Like we said, for Indonesia, it's about more than just winning. It doesn't really matter if you win right now, but you put yourself in a position of requiring a near impossible win against South Korea to get into that regional final. You don't want to just be tied on points. You need that net run rate boost, Indonesia. And singles, they're not going to boost that net run rate too much. Kumbare, 2 balls left in his spell. That's pushed into the leg side. Declan Suzuki at deep mid-wicket cleans up.
So I'm going to call it Paddy's survey. I think he comes on strike now, doesn't he? And he needs to survive this spell. There we go. I knew that he was going to do something conservative and survive. Just see out the danger man. Kumbare, 4 overs, 12 off it. And that's a really nice spell. 3 runs and over. That's all you can ask for, really. So
Yeah,
where
why
to
not?
now for Indonesia, Jay?
Oof, they've got to take the aerial route. It's as simple as that. Paddy Survey loves that extra cover region. He's got to do his best. He's got to do his best to get a boundary. It's that simple. We have a change in bowling. Makoto Taniyama into the attack, and a reminder that Paddy Survey hit Taniyama for 3 boundaries in an over the last time these two teams faced off. So it's an interesting contest to watch, in my opinion. But for now, it's going to be Priyandana on strike. He's batting on 10 off 20. So the leg spinner, Taniyama. And I have to say, an interesting move to take Sabawarish Ravichandran out of the attack. He had 1 over left, of course. And I have to say, I don't quite agree with that move from Japan. Here we go, Taniyama. Tosses it up, that's wide.
Oh.
But James, am I being too harsh? Would you have taken Ravichandran out of the attack, or would you have continued with him?
I would have stayed with him.
Absolutely. Tossed up into the leg side. Deep square leg should clean up, and yes, he does. Just a single.
I think they've still got enough bowling. Leo Sakurana Thomas has only bowled 1 over. Declan Suzuki is there. So you just let Ravichandran keep weaving his magic, keep the momentum going.
Down the track, has he found that gap? Nope. Long on. Ravichandran, that man we were just talking about, cuts it off. 3 runs off the first 2 balls.
But you can't fault the Japanese tactics so far in this tournament.
Short, too short. That's in the air. Will it be taken? Absolutely not. That sails over deep square leg. And the change of bowling, at least so far, it hasn't worked for Japan.
Well, that's it. This is where Ravichandran will be saying, I wouldn't have done that. So dug it in short, and it's a gimme for
Look at that.
Priyandana. There we go. Here we go. The ramp drum is back in action. Yeah, now there could be a battle. It could be a ramp drum with and a battle, maybe a rap battle of some kind with Lachlan Yamamoto Lake and his BRB Munde boys, the hip hop group that he's part of. They'll have to wait. For now, we've got an intriguing cricket contest. Look at the mud on the front of his shirt, Taniyama.
Watchfully played. But I just wonder, is this the turning point of this innings? Taniyama hasn't had a fantastic tournament so far.
Well, can I just provide one excuse for him? If that ball is soggy, it's a bit harder for the Shane Warne of Japanese cricket.
There you go, 50 up now for Indonesia. 1 ball left in the 10th over. They're looking in control of this chase. can they finish things off nice and quick and boost their net run rate?
Oh, it's nice. Good response. But a good over for Indonesia.
50 for 2 after 10. We're beyond the halfway point. This is a reduced 19 overs a side contest. If you're just joining us, Japan won the toss, decided to bat first, and were dismissed for 103. Let's take a look at those worms. That Japanese worm had got off to a fantastic start, but it just flattened out. And for Indonesia, well, they're keeping up with that required rate, but they have to go for it.
Yeah, they have to go for it if they want to win this tournament and make it to the East Asia Pacific Regional Qualifier. So as Jay pointed out earlier on, you might have missed it, they needed to really put this game away around this 10 or 11 over mark and then do the same to South Korea this afternoon. Currently Japan in the box seat. They've got the run rate advantage. Declan Suzuki, you can see there warming up, the 19-year-old. But it's really, this now feels like it's Japan's tournament.
It's still too early to say, of course. If Japan lose narrowly, then their net run rate is going to come down. Ooh, that's a little bit uppish. They're thinking about two. Oh, a confusion. He slips. Oh, my God.
Oh,
so
it's still
much
on.
happening.
Oh, no.
Look at that. A better throw, and we would have seen the huge wicket of Paddy Survey. And I have to say, that would have been an unlucky way to get out.
Well, here we see on the replay, the captain comes around, Kadawaki Fleming, and he said himself there shouldn't have been any problems with a throw. And even Shirai Patmore, it's actually 2 run-outs missed because over there Yamamoto Lake couldn't get a handle on it. And both Indonesian batsmen were in the middle of the pitch talking to touching distance of each other. And that was calamitous, could have been.
Oh, playing him as Paddy Survey still looking for his first boundary. And Declan Suzuki, the new man into the attack, starting well.
I noticed Shirai Patmore standing back for Suzuki today, obviously skidding on a bit, just playing it safe really.
Mid-off up in the circle. Defended into the offside, and a good call through for a single.
Declan is fired up. Suzuki wants to hold them and restrict them, suffocate the Indonesians because he knows he wants that win. You're absolutely right, Jay. If Indonesia get up and win this, it comes down to net run rate. But why do that to yourself? Finish the game.
Tucked into the leg side. Oh, there's work to do here for deep mid-wicket, who does a fantastic job. Look at that. Who's there? Who's that in the deep?
Wow, outstanding fielding, isn't it? I think that might be Mia Watari. He's the man who picked us up from the airport.
Yeah, Mio.
He's normally he's a keeper, but a good rocket arm.
Wow.
He's got the best metabolism in Japan. He can eat anything and stay at 60 kgs.
Mate, he took me out for fried chicken and fried potatoes the other day. Oh, I didn't eat nearly as much as he did, but, well, I'm not going to look down at my waist, man. Why'd you have to bring that up?
Well, honestly, it's been a shocker for me this tour and diet-wise as Declan Suzuki. It was a nice length, but they managed to get these little singles that are frustrating the bowler, but you can't be too upset with 4 off the over, Declan. It's a good start. And now Indonesia, they've got 8 overs. It's reduced to 19, of course, this contest. 8 overs to get, 50 runs. So the target is my computer's just gone down here.
Yeah, mate, I'm on 13% battery myself. I gotta say, it's been a very strange day at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Bowled out for 103 Japan, and Indonesia, they've been pegged back by some fantastic bowling.
You can go to crickclubs.com if you want to follow the game.
That's pulled away down to fine leg. There's nobody there. Yet another boundary conceded by Makoto Taniyama. And this time it's Paddy Survey moving into double figures.
So Japan's total, yeah, it was. They did actually require just 50, but it's made it a lot easier. It's gone down now. Japan set a total of 103. Now Indonesia, you have to say with Paddy Survey out there and the opener Priandana, that they're in the box seat to win this one.
Lets that go. They get some exercise. The umpires in Indonesia get a bonus run. Tossed up, guides that down to third man for an easy single.
So what's at stake here is, of course, the path to the 2024 T20 Men's World Cup, which is going to be expanded.
Down to long on for a single.
And there'll be some minnow nations, if we're still allowed to say minnow, I'm not sure what but these fledgling cricket nations will have a chance. Japan really want to be there. And so do Indonesia.
Yeah, no doubt. It was actually a good piece of bowling just now from Taniyama. Just flighted it, holding it back. Higher trajectory, slower through the air as well. That's quicker. Oh, and it's flown off the bat too. This could be running down to the boundary. Work to do here for the fielder. Does well. Keeps it down to what looks like 2 runs. So 2 more runs here for Indonesia. That's not a good delivery though from Makoto Taniyama.
So do you know when is that the East Asia Pacific qualifier final, Jay?
I know it's sometime next year. I don't believe the dates nor the venue have been confirmed. Oh, a run-out chance at the non-striker's end.
Oh!
It didn't look like he made a clean collection there. A wide throw as well. Nervous moments again for this pair of Survey and Priyandana, but no damage done. Indonesia 63 for 2 after 12.
Yeah, another good over for Indonesia there. But yeah, there's a tournament that will be next year with the Philippines, Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea, and one of these 2 teams that you're watching right now. And can you imagine it? A nation like Japan or Indonesia going to the T20 World Cup, taking on the best in the world. There's a couple of young players here. This is really partly a development side, if you will. Declan Suzuki, he was at high school last year in Melbourne, really good Aussie rules football player. He's in the feeder club for an AFL side.
That's 2 full. Oh, well done. Mid-off, you've definitely saved 3 runs. Ibi Takahashi, take a bow.
Yeah, there's a few young ones in here. Yamamoto Lake.
Ibi Takahashi. Look, we now have mid-on and mid-off both up in the circle. That's guided away. Fine, a deep third man has some work to do. And Paddy Survey says no to that second run.
And they've got a fast bowler, another Australian-based Japanese fast bowler, Ryan Drake, who's not playing in this tournament, but he's been drafted into the squad, or the wider squad.
Down the track, a play and a miss. Priyandana, the only boundary he's scored in his innings so far was a 6 over deep square leg. He's 22 of 29, and I have to say he's struggled. Indonesia, of course, making a change at the top of the order. Out of this game, out of the 11, I beg your pardon, Kadek Darmawan not playing today. Therefore, Priyandana promoted up the order. One of Indonesia's best batters. Lets that go through to the keeper.
It's wide. Suzuki not as accurate as he was before. Still looks swift, Suzuki. Still looks like he's digging it in, putting a bit more effort on it. Knows because it's a artificial pitch, he needs to provide a bit more heat.
Oh, it's a big
big
appeal.
shot.
I think there was a bit of an inside edge on that one as well. That's why he aborted the appeal. In any case, 2 balls left in the 13th over. And I tell you what, there's actually a chance of an outright Japanese victory. 38 needed off 38 deliveries. Japan, of course, getting bowled out for 103. Down the ground, and it looks like he's cleared that mid-off fielder. Ibi Takahashi gives up the chase. 4 very important runs here for Indonesia.
Yeah, and the slip ramp drums have started. The Indonesian players are loving it. Beautiful, lofted off drive. Yeah, play that drum, play it. Celebrate. And there's, everyone's joining in. Great atmosphere down in that dugout.
.34 needed off 37. Down the ground, quick single, and they make it in easy. Make that 33 needed off the final 6 overs. Indonesia 71 for 2.
So it's a different Declan Suzuki, almost deciding he's got to put in a bit more pace today, given that Kubota's not there. He's sort of been given the job as a second seamer behind Reo Sakurano Thomas, who's only bowled the 1 over. Usually he's the man who comes in to mop up the tail, Sakurano Thomas. And Kendall Karawaki Fleming says, okay, I need something different here.
Yeah, and in fact, it's Ibi Takahashi, the off spinner, coming into the attack. A fantastic bit of fielding in that last over. But that last ball, of course, sailed over his head. Agus Priyandana not overhitting that ball, and just timing it down the ground, over mid-off, in fact. 71 for 2, Ibi Takahashi. Can he drag things back, take a wicket here? Regardless of the result of this game, Japan are going to suffer a bit of a blow to their net run rate. Looks like Indonesia are going to triumph here at the SICG. Oh, just over deep mid-wicket. It looks like Kendall Fleming down there. He was in from the boundary.
That was Sakurano Thomas.
There you go.
And yeah, there wasn't much. I think it would have cleared him even if he was right on the rope. But I'm always a fan of staying right on the boundary. Give yourself the best chance. And do one of those moves where you chuck it up to yourself. Never managed to do that in my career.
Into the leg side, a little bit uppish. Goes down to long on for a single. But I tell you what's happened in the last 5 overs or so. 5 minutes, I beg your pardon. The chances of an outright Japanese victory don't look too good anymore. Agus Priyandana batting on a runner ball 34. He's looking really good.
This is what they need to do, just accelerate.
Oh, full toss. Ooh, gets away with that one. Straight to mid-wicket.
Well, this shows how close these two teams are. You can feel that Japan are definitely a work in progress. They've tweaked their lineup. May have backfired somewhat today.
Fired in. Ooh, looking for a cheeky run out, but it looked like the batter was back in his crease anyway.
Yeah, they made a couple of changes.
Oh, that's the top edge. Alex Shirai Patmore, can he get to it? Ooh, just about evading him. That would have been an important 3rd wicket for Japan, but they scamper through for a single, do these 2 batters.
He's a good athlete, Shirai Patmore. And he was on his bike trying to get down there to no avail. And now we see Takahashi. He's come back well from that early 6.
Yep, 1 ball left in this over. Down the ground. I don't think he's found the gap. Yes, long off gets around and cuts it off. But another single here from Indonesia. They're now 79 for 2 and need 25 off the last 5 overs.
Yeah, 8 runs off that over, and nice positivity from Priyandana. Here we go. This is the bowling card. And there's been Shabarish Ravichandran and Kumbari operating the 2 spin twins. And look at them, both just so economical. 3 off the overs that they bowled. Declan Suzuki's come in, done a bit of work. Taniyama, the leg spinner, he had some issues.
Well, there you go. Rayo Sakurana Thomas is into the attack now. But Indonesia, they're doing well. 39 runs coming in the last 5 overs for them. And I think the turning point was when Sabaurish Ravichandran was taken out of the attack. It's something both of us did not agree with at that point in time. And of course, Makota Taniyama coming into the attack, leaking 19 runs in 2 overs. An expensive spell in the context of a low-scoring game.
What a time to bowl. You've only got 20-odd runs to defend.
That's short, a bit of a top edge. Oh, just short of Kendall Fleming at deep fine leg.
Of course, he's got good pace, Sakurano Thomas, so suddenly the Indonesian batters have to reconfigure their sights and try and work out how to get him away. And at the same time, knowing 24 more runs is a win. Oh, he's gone high, and this should be out. And it is. Sakurano Thomas strikes second ball. Japan back in it.
Yeah, I completely agree. This game is not dead, not by any means. 24 more required off 28 deliveries. And as we can see on that replay, wasn't there for the drive, skied it up in the air, did Paddy Survey. And a very good catch. That looks like Taniyama. Yes,
Yeah.
you redeemed yourself.
Well, good to see Taniyama back in the game, but Leo Sakurano Thomas just too much, too hot to handle. And off he goes. He has to. We've lost Paddy Survey, and Indonesia in particular know that he's the big hitter. So does Japan. A really big wicket to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it might actually be 23 needed off 28. We're just trying to get confirmation from the scorers. Nonetheless, a very, very important wicket for Rayo Sakurano Thomas, his second of the innings. Can he make it 3 wickets? Not like that, down the leg side. I think that's off the pad. They scamper through for a single, and the umpire signals nothing. So that's off the bat. And the new batter at the crease, he's off the mark. Yep, absolutely. Sunny Havo did a great job with the ball. His first over was a wicket maiden, in fact, at the death of the innings. That's a high impact over, make no mistake about that. But Sunny Havo, second generation cricketer, and he's been around for a while, coming through the age group ranks, of course, for Indonesia.
Oh, wow. Skied it. It's lucky, streaky, and it goes all the way down for 4. Just got some bat on it. And it's enough to actually put Indonesia slightly in front. It's just neck and neck at the moment.
Yeah, I tell you what, they say fortune favors the brave. That was a brave shot from Agus Priyandana.
Sorry, it was Priyandana. My apologies, but wow, that was a great shot. Well, not a great shot, but a great result.
Oh, there you go, a swing and a miss, just missing that off stump. And interestingly, Alex Shirai Patmore, I tell you, he's one heck of a gloveman. If you can stand up to the stumps to Rayo Sakurano Thomas, you're a talented, talented wicketkeeper.
Yeah, he loves to put that pressure on the batters, and right now. Priandana, he can't go for a wander knowing that he's got Shirai Patmore breathing down his neck.
There you go, a wild swing yet again. And another play and a miss.
And over. 6 off it, but crucially that wicket. And look at that, the run rate required, 5.73. Do you know what? I think the message should go out now. Aleo, he's hot to handle, too hard to handle. Go big now. We saw Harwo the other day, didn't he? Sonny had a massive 6 over square leg. And I think even though it was a short boundary, he cleared it by miles, and he can hit the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. New bowler at the crease, Sabarish Ravichandran can also give it a whack. Missed out with the bat, but he's been really, really good with the ball. And he's allowed Japan to just limit that net run rate damage. Even if Japan win today, their net run rate will take a hit. It's not going to matter, of course. If they win, they're into that regional final. But I tell you what, it definitely looks like Indonesia's game. Smashed away in front of square on the offside. Deep cover should cut this off, but can he prevent the 2? A strong throw comes in, a big appeal.
Great running and a good piece of fielding as well, we must say. But I tell you what, it wasn't a routine 2 runs, was it? They just had to hustle. It's wet out there, it's soggy, they couldn't afford to slip. They got through nicely, and that's advantage Indonesia.
Yeah, there you go. Bit of tension around the field yet again. That Indonesian dugout just a little bit quiet.
Oh,
Looks like an under edge on that. We're waiting for the signal from the umpire. No signal, so there you go. A sharp chance for Alex Shirai Patmore. Maybe a little too sharp. And another useful single here for Indonesia.
that's right, they're just 15 runs away.
Yep, we have a deep square leg and a deep mid-wicket in position. Oh, that's guided away behind square on the offside. The chase is on here for Declan Suzuki. He does well to cut off the boundary, but not able to prevent the 2. And now that required run rate has dipped below 4 runs per over.
And crucially, it's runs off every ball so far this over, which means the bowler's thinking about it. They're in his head.
Guided straight to gully.
Well, I know what they're trying to do, but there's 2 people saving that, and Ravichandran just getting a vital dot ball.
Fired in. Good stuff here from Ravichandran. He has 1 ball left in his spell. Can he close things out with a wicket?
I think Indonesia have got to go big here.
Shorter. That's uppish, and it's taken by
Terrible.
that man at gully. So a bit of hope here for Japan. 4 wickets down now, but a fantastic innings in the context of this tournament by Agus Priyandana. Walks back to the dugout for 42 off 43.
Well, it was just the poor execution, really. He needed to go big, a bit more of a swing of the bat, trying to guide it over a fielder who's pretty much placed there just for that shot. And there was a couple of times in that over where he leaned back. He knew that the pace from Ravichandran wouldn't be enough to trouble him. He's got his eye in, but he just forgot to swing hard. I think if he'd cleared that field, we'd have a different game. And what are we saying now? Advantage Japan.
No, come on, mate. 13 needed off 18 balls, 6 wickets in hand. Well, in terms of qualification, yes, advantage
Advantage Japan qualification. Voreo Sakurano Thomas, I thought he was giving them too many problems. But remember, one of the boundaries, or the only boundary he conceded, was just a streaky edge over the keeper. So I'm guessing they're just going to swing the bat, hope for the best.
Tell you what, another wicket or two in this over and things are going to get very interesting. It looks like Sunny Harbour on strike. Ooh, once again, getting
we go.
nice and high on that bat.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I know they only need, 13 runs. 13 runs to win. But if Reo can bowl anything like a maiden here or something close to it, take a wicket, force some errors, keep it tight, and we're in for a grandstand finish.
We have a change in field now. Wataru Miyauchi coming into the circle. We have 5 fielders in the circle for the first time in a long time. A swing and a miss. Look at that. This game is still alive. 13 needed off 16 deliveries. And for the first time today, I think these outfielders from Japan getting very, very excited. They're making a lot of noise, including Alex Shirai Patmore. Reo Sakurano Thomas has been impressive throughout this tournament and throughout the season for Japan. Was brilliant against Indonesia in that 3-match bilateral series before this all-important tournament. So much work to do still for Indonesia. 13 needed off 16. Sunny Hawo just eyeing up those gaps on the leg side. In fact, he's looking in our direction. He's not interested in us. He's thinking about maybe going over fine leg. That's smashed over short extra cover, and in fact it runs down to that deep extra cover boundary for a much needed 4.
Well, there it is, the boundary, releasing the pressure. Love to see that energy from the Japanese fielders. Sakurano Thomas, there wasn't much wrong with the delivery. It was just a good, clean strike. Probably a little bit too much in the zone.
Here we go, 9 needed off 15 now. That's on the leg side yet again. That's a poor delivery. Is it going to run down to the boundary? Yeah, I think it might be back-to-back, or has it been cut off?
Wow.
Yes, it has. Who is that fielder in the deep? It's Shogo Kimura. Of course it's Shogo Kimura.
Just the man with the energy, but was his foot on the boundary when he kept it in, is what I'm wondering, or his leg?
Yeah, I think he's just about okay there, Shogo Kimura.
I don't know. They probably should show a replay of that, and I think they need to get some confirmation. 4, that's what I thought.
Oh my word, Shogo Kimura, it was a good effort.
Yeah, it was
no
a
doubt
good,
about that.
Yeah. That's the thing. It was somebody had to. We didn't get the replay. I don't know why they're not showing us. Here comes Reo.
5 runs to win. Bang! This could be 3 consecutive boundaries, and yes, it is. Sunny Hawo turning things on here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Indonesia just 1 run away for a very convincing and a potentially important victory here at the Sano International Cricket Ground.
Well, it was delicately poised, but Sunny Harbour has just said, you know what? I can end it right now, and why not? That's what you need to do in T20, to be honest. You've just got to take your chances, live a little dangerously, go over the top.
Swing and a miss, but they're going to get through for a single. Sunny Howe, whoa, Sunny Howe, wow. That's one heck of a cameo. And a big victory here for Indonesia. They win by 6 wickets with 2 overs to spare.
Yeah, that's nice stuff from Indonesia. I love their energy. I love the drum playing, and also just some brilliant bowling to start with to put the brakes on Japan, to frustrate them to a very low total by their high standards. And then Sunny Harbour comes in with the cameo at the right time, 16 off 9 after Priyandana, and the captain Garmantika set the platform. Indonesia worthy victors. And have a look at that scorecard, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Agus Priyandana a little bit slow up top, but recovered well. 42 of 43 for him. It really set the platform for Indonesia before Sonny Harwo closed things out 16 off 9, including 3 consecutive boundaries. Indonesia chasing down 103 with 2 overs to spare. And Japan, for their part, they fought hard with the ball. 2 for 25 for Reo Sakurano Thomas, but the pick of the bowlers, Piyush Kambare, 0 for 12 in his 4 overs and 2 for 14 for Sabaurish Ravichandran. Unfortunately, they were unable to prevent what looked like an inevitable victory for Indonesia. And a quick match summary, of course. Kendall Karawaki Fleming, top scoring for Japan. Loki Yamamoto Lake looked very good in the power play, but dismissed soon after. And, of course, all out for 103. 3 for 14 for Eddie Artavan, a potential contender for man of the match. And in response, Indonesia, a little bit slow, but they never really looked in trouble. 42 of 43 for Priyandana, the headline act in that innings. And of course, we have to take a look at that points table and that net run rate. Indonesia, not a big improvement in net run rate for them. They've won 2 out of 3. Their net run rate, 0.37. Japan's net run rate has dropped to 2.93. So once again, Indonesia need a big, convincing victory to pull off qualification for the regional final next year. We're going to get confirmation on the next broadcast in the next game on exactly how much they need to win by. But for now, there you go. A 6-wicket win with 2 overs to spare for Indonesia. Don't go too far. We're going to find out exactly who is the player of the match in around 5 minutes from now. I'm one of your 2 commentators for the day, Jay Dansinghani. If you like what you've heard, you can always follow me on Twitter at jdansinghani. But stick around for that post-match presentation. Welcome to the presentation ceremony for Indonesia versus Japan. Indonesia had to win to stay alive in the tournament. That's exactly what they did, bowling Japan out for 103 and chasing down that target with 2 overs to spare. We're going to keep things quick and read out the nominees for player of the match. Our first nominee, the skipper, Kadek Gamantika, for 21 and taking 2 wickets with the ball. Our second nominee for 42 off 43, Agus Priyandana. But there could only be one winner, and it was a very obvious choice. Congratulations, Eddie Artavan. Eddie, here is your certificate. Just pose for a picture. Eddie, I have a few questions. I'll keep it short. You can hold on to that. Eddie, you know, were there any conversations at any point about net run rate during this chase?
Sudah ada bicara tentang net run rate belum pada hari ini?
Belum sih Pak.
Ya bilang aja mungkin kita akan menangkan game hari ini.
Yeah, my plan is our plan is just winning next match, and we're not talking about the run rate net later.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just in terms of bowling and the conditions out there, what was it like bowling in these conditions and on the artificial wicket?
I'm very excited in bowling here because this is my first time to join with Indonesian Cricket National, and yeah, I'm happy with my result.
Mate, I'm not going to keep you too long. That was one of the best bowling spells of this tournament, and I absolutely love the headgear as well. Congratulations and best of luck in the next game. So there you have it. Eddie Artaman, a fantastic performance of 3 for 14 and a convincing victory for Indonesia. Don't go too far. Join us for that next game coming up in 35 minutes from now.